Hello, in this video we'll talk about Booleans, Boolean operators, and order of evaluation. So this video is going to have these following topics. First, we're going to talk about the Booleans. What are the Boolean? It's a different type of data types, similar to what we saw on integers and float, but they have special values. We're going to learn that. We're also going to talk about the Boolean operators, and we're going to talk about the order of evaluation. They are evaluated in specific order, and it's very important to understand the order in order to get the correct result. All right, let's go ahead and start. What is the Booleans? Okay, Booleans refers to a value that is either true or false. Just like we saw before in the integers. Integers, they take any numbers, negative or positive, or even zero. Same thing with the floats. They can take any value, any number that has a decimal points. In Booleans, we take only true or false. These are the only values that we have. Okay. Why we need that? Well, sometimes when you write a program, a Boolean value, it comes pretty handy. And we saw something like that when we start to learn about the branching and the if statements. Okay. So you can evaluate an expression, and that expression will give you either true or false. Okay, so if you go in idle, and again we use idle just to test some stuff. Okay, if you go to idle and you say print, and between parentheses you say type, which is a built-in function, and you tell Python, show me what is the type of true. Okay, I misspelled it over here, so I'm going to say print and type between parentheses true. You see the color changed to orange. That means Python recognized this word. It's going to tell you this is from a class Boolean. It shorts here bool. Okay, same thing with the false. Okay, so the Boolean variable or the Boolean object takes either true or false. It's very important also to notice over here, true and false, just it has to be a capital T for the true and capital T for the F. So if I go over here, for example, try to do the same thing I did, print type between parentheses, I say true. Look at the color, it did not change to red. That means Python does not recognize it, but let me hit return and it's going to tell me it's an error. True is not defined. Okay, so you're going to be careful with that. Every time you use a Boolean, true or false, they must be capitalized. Okay. All right, so that is what's the Boolean. So it's a different data type, but this data type takes either a value of true or a value of false. Okay, it's very handy, as I said before, when it comes to using expressions, when it comes to branching or the if statements. Okay, here's an example, another example. Can I assign a variable to true or false? Yes, I can say that. I can say, for example, x equal to true, and I can say, for example, y equal to false, and look at the color changed. Okay, that will work. So if I say print x, so I'm telling Python print the value of x, it's going to give me true. Print the value of y, it's going to give me false. Why? Because that's what is stored in these variables that I declared. Okay. Again, we can use them for the expressions over here. What we saw before, we do the comparisons. So if I have a variable name and they assign to it Sam, and then if I try to test it, is name equal to Sam, the result should be true. Over here, the second line is going to give you false. Okay, now let's talk about the Boolean operators. Okay, Boolean operators, the Boolean operator treats operands as true or false and evaluate it to a value of true or false. What does that mean? Okay, so it's actually we have some type of operators. What if we have more than one expression? What if we have more than one condition? And we want to use the result of these 2 or 3 or 4 expressions or conditions to decide to take the branch or not. How can I do that? Well, I can do that by using Boolean operators. Boolean operators, we have 3 different types of operators. We have and, or, and not. okay? And we're going to talk about each one of these operators, okay? So and, if I have A and B, assume A is an expression that will result, for example, true, and B is another expression that will result, for example, true. Okay, if the connector between them, or the operator that I have, is and, this will return true when both of them, A and B, when both of them are true. If one of them is false or both of them is false, the and is going to tell me these two expressions, the result of them with the and is going to give me false. Okay, for the or operator, if I have an A or B, if one of them is true, I just need one of them to be true. The result of this operator, when I have A or B, is going to be true. Okay? So again, think about A and B as each one of them is a different condition that will result either true or false, and B is different expression or a condition that will result either true or false. Okay, so in the or, I just need one of them, either A or B, to be true to make the result of this true. If both of them is false, it's going to give me false. The last one is the not. The not is basically, think about it in math, it's the negation, okay, or the opposite, okay? So if I have a condition or expression A, and A is true, when I say not A, that will give me false. If A is false and I say not false, that will give me true, okay? Let's go back again to our examples over here. We saw that X is true. When I say not X, is going to print out false, which is the opposite of X, okay? Let me try A and Y. Sorry, X and Y. We saw X is true and Y is false, okay? In this case, it's going to give me false because the and, it's going to give me true only when both of them are true, okay? What about the or? X or Y. This one give me true because I have to get only one of them. In my case, X was true. I don't care about the Y. Even the Y, if it's true or false, the result is going to be true, okay? In if statements, we saw before, we have only one condition or one expression. What if I want to have more than one? Well, very simple. I can have as many conditions as I want, but I have to link them with some type of logical operators, which we saw before in the previous slide. And these going to be either using and or, and you can use not, okay? So in Python, we use one of these three if we have more than one operator to link multiple conditions in the if statement. So if all of them depends on what type of operator I'm using, if the result of all these conditions with the operator that I have true, I will take this branch. If it's false, I will skip the branch and continue the program, okay? Here's an example. It gives you here A less than B and B less than C. If A less than B in reality and B less than C, this one will evaluate to a true. Okay, and when it comes to the second example over here, if B equal to C, okay, and B equal to 5.5, if B equal to C or B equal to 5.5, whatever result, I'm gonna get the opposite of it because of the not operator. Okay, here's an exercise for you guys. I want you to pause the video and practice this exercise. You can do it in idle, you can do it in a program if you want. A equal to 5.5, B equal to 1.5, and K equal to -3. Okay, so I want you to evaluate these three statements and what is going to be the result, true or false. Okay. Here is another example, actually more examples over here. If 9 greater than 7, which is true, and 2 less than 4, which is also true, both of them are true, and the link between them, the operators and, that will result true. Over here, I have the or, this is true and this is false. Because of the OR, I just need one, so it's true. Over here is going to give me false because this is false, not false, it's going to be true. Okay, so the original expression was false. And here, another more examples.